Hey garden friends, welcome back to Flower Patch. Today we're going to take a tour of the secret cottage garden and what's going on in there. Over the summer it's changed a lot because a lot of things surprised me. I've been fighting gophers back there really bad. So let's get going and I will show you what's going on right now, and we'll talk about kind of some of the changes back there that I am aiming for. So let's get going on our tour. So let's get started here on our tour of the secret garden. This is the first week of October, and though I've been working off and on back here this summer, it hasn't been priority, so I really haven't done a lot of videos back here. But it's doing gorgeous right now, and I'm working on getting things moved around, and I wanted to share what I'm just loving. So this was just a simple 6-pack of regular impatiens. I wanted one color, and I planted it in this quarter barrel. This spot gets just some morning sun, and then the rest of the day it gets shade. So it's perfect for impatiens, and they have just been an utter delight. And it was like $4 for that 6-pack. So nothing fancy, but it has been truly enjoyable all summer long. And here are some hostas. My hostas are doing great. That's new that I'm putting in along here. And that container will be moved. I'm deciding on whether to make that into a fountain or not in the center. That there's not good drainage in that pot, so I would have to either put good drainage in it, drill it for that, or I can fill those holes and turn it into a vessel for water as part of a solar fountain. I got a larger pump with a large panel, solar panel, and I have yet to set it up. So one of my delights was these two rescue hydrangeas. These are summer crush. They're part of the endless summer, which means it blooms not only on old wood but on new wood. This last spring, when we had those 2 hard freezes that I've mentioned several times, in May, where it got down to 20 degrees several nights in a row, these got froze back hard a couple of times. I thought I had lost them completely. I did not think, number one, they would even come back, but that they would even bloom, and they both have bloomed. Just one big bloom each, and if it would stay warmer, I'm sure I would get another, but I'm just thrilled that they lived and they even bloomed, and they were beautiful pink blooms. As you can see, this one's the one on the right has faded already. So my other hydrangeas, they also had gotten zapped too, and so I didn't get any blooms. Those are regular macrophylla hydrangeas. So of course they only bloom on old wood, and I didn't get any blooms, but they did survive it, so that's good. I have them in pots. I have them in containers because they were getting eaten by gophers. I have a real problem back here, as you probably know if you've been around very long. And I'm still working on eradicating them, or I'm just putting things in containers that they seem to want to eat. So over here, look at this. This is my petite pink Gara, which it has like tripled in size from when I planted it last year, and it has been a true winner. This one stays dwarf. I don't like the tall ones. They seem to get gangly and weedy looking, but this shorter one stays really nice and tidy and compact, and has been beautiful. From the time it starts growing again in spring, it has these deep burgundy bracts, and then it puts on these flowers all summer long. Even during the high heat wave we had, these have just done beautifully. So back there is the Nicotiana, lime Nicotiana I had transplanted. This came back from seed last year, and I transplanted it. Seeded itself over in the bed where it originally was, and there was plenty of them, so I dug it up, put it over here, and it has been just a beautiful contrast here in this bed. That is a golden ligustrum, and it wasn't doing well on the ground, so I thought maybe the gophers were eating it, and I dug it up and put it in a container and just plopped it here for that beautiful contrast of color. So back there, in this flower bed, in one of my films or videos, I showed some echinaceas. I had white swan and I had powwow white, which I love the white to contrast it with the colors, and the gophers ate them. I did dig them up and pot them, hoping to save them, and I think some of them survived, but I was just devastated. I had grown them from seed and they were doing so beautifully. I'll put a little clip in here if I can find it of what they look like. And it's exactly what I wanted in this bed, but they had to go. I'm contemplating just planting them back in the pots into the ground and see how that works. These are zinnias from seed. Aren't they gorgeous? This beautiful orangey red color. These are called Senora ones. Look at down here, this beautiful, whoops, I just kicked my gopher trap. But yeah, just beautiful. Down here, some weeds are getting control, but that's some woolly thyme, and it fills in nicely. I need to weed it, and then I want to continue some more stepping stones out here with more woolly thyme. Let me back up again really quick. I needed to back up because here's something new in this area that I've been working on, much to the chagrin of my poor back. I've been moving these stepping stones, these slate, or yeah, I don't know what kind of rock they are. I call them slate. Anyway, stepping stones in here, and then I'm filling in with ground cover. Like right here is, I think this is the Corsican mint. Yes, beautiful. Love that. When you step on it lightly, you get the minty scent. Right there I had done Scotch moss, which it didn't take off. It was pretty hot when I did that. So I will dig up some more and try again with that. Here is some elfin thyme that I just planted in there. And then more elfin thyme. The elfin thyme seems to be really taking off. I have some blue star creeper, which that gets some pretty little flowers, and I have a whole patch of it to my left that I'm digging it up from. I can hear the little mountain chickadee. So here is some more elfin thyme. Like I said, I'm going to try some of the Scotch moss. Let me see if I can get that little birdie. It's up there on the bird bath. Right there. That's a mountain chickadee. So cute. Anyways, back to our tour. Let me go back over here. This centerpiece, this is the 4-foot round I put in. I had what was considered a 3-foot round. My idea was to put this one here, put the 3-foot on top, and I'd have like 6 inches around. And that didn't work because this one either isn't a complete 4-foot or the other one was larger than 3 feet. And this one isn't perfectly circular, whereas the other one was. So it was really wonky looking and I didn't like it. But in the center is a potted rose, and then I had put this tidal wave silver petunia in there. I thought it would be sedate, just create a ground cover around the rose. Well, it just took off and has been beautiful, but just swamping the whole pot and draping down. Beautiful, but it wasn't what I had intended there. I have enjoyed it. I let it stay, but this is where I want to put that black pot I was saying I may want to turn into a fountain. And then if I do, that'll be a perfect spot for the fountain to be. The rose in the pot will be put somewhere in this back area. And I just was thinking of that this morning as I was out here walking. Around here, I have several sedums and sempervivums, and I thought that would be perfect there because I don't know, they have the rosette shape, the sempervivums, and the different colors of sedums that I have. I just think it would be something beautiful in there that I don't have to replant, but I could pull away areas if I wanted to put some annuals in there for bright color. But I just thought a spot of calm greens here would work very well. And down here, you see these? These are the boxwoods that I have started from cuttings. And I want them to grow around this circle. So I have a constant evergreen, because in the winter or early spring, this is very drab out here. So I wanted something to bring some evergreen color in here and just dress it up a little bit. I had put the bricks around, so that'll help define that area. And so you can see my stepping stones are continuing on around. So I will bring more, well, I'll have someone bring, because my back's just telling me no more of that. More to continue around the circle and then go down over there. Over here, you see some roses. These roses have done really well here. So even though they're in a pot, I think I'm going to leave them here. This one is just a regular black nursery pot, so I may get, I'm liking the larger terracottas, so that's what I'm thinking. I'll get a large terracotta and put this rose in it and keep it here. This rose here, which is my Isaac Perrier, Madam Isaac Perrier. Look at this thing. Isn't that gorgeous? Anyways, I'm going to plant that. Let me move kind of slow so I don't make you ill. But this is a project I've been working on, putting this obelisk arbor back here behind my bench, and I want to put the rose on that side. On this side, I have rainstay violets, which is similar in form of the Madam Isaac Perrier. And so, and it's growing right there, and I'm going to train it to go up that obelisk. It has been going up the fence, but all the roses want to go bloom to the backside, and I don't get to enjoy them as much. And so far, the gophers have left that one alone pretty much. So I'm hoping they do the same. Or I could bury it or plant it with a cage around the root system. So even if they did try to chew on it, they couldn't devastate it. Now, the one thing I've been enjoying, one of the things, is the lemon coral sedum. And isn't that just been gorgeous bright color underneath the bench, and it's just done so well. It does die back a lot in the winter, but then it comes back with fervor, so it works very, very well. So behind the bench, I have put a thick layer of alfalfa hay because I wanted to prevent anything from seeding here, and I just want to enrich the soil for now. I have been debating, because my bobo hydrangeas have been doing so poorly in the front. I was thinking maybe of putting them back here in a grouping, so that would make a nice display behind this bench. And I haven't settled on that completely yet, but it is an idea. So here, look at that. That's Peaches and Dreams hollyhock. Let me see if I can zoom for you. And the color has sure intensified since the temperatures have cooled down. And so far, the gophers have left this one alone. They ate the one that was on the other side of my toolbox shed. But they left this one alone, and I don't know why. This is a Nicotiana that I transplanted here. And it's doing beautifully, even though it, took a hit as far as going into shock. And that one back there. And I was going to let these go to seed back here, so maybe they'll reseed a little bit. I will pull up some of the alfalfa once I make a firm decision on whether or not I'm going to plant my bobo hydrangeas back here. Alrighty, back down here, I had pulled out a globe thistle back here, Echinacea. It wasn't doing it for me right now, but I was also debating that's where I'm going to put that rose to climb up. But as far as, because this wire mesh does not really block the view, I intend, let me move back over here. I had put this up this spring, had that lath, I don't know, I want to call it mesh, it's not. Anyways, that would, I want to add some more of this panel, those lath panels, and around, because even though it still has the holes, it does stop the eye. and does provide a little bit more privacy, and so I wouldn't be looking right down into my neighbor's backyard. So that's an idea. I do have it already here. I just got to get it installed, etc. So let me back up a little bit on the path. Boy, the mountain chickadees are sure busy. I wonder what they're finding. Probably the bird baths and whatever they're enjoying. Anyways, here's one of my metal tubs down there, and I just put this sweet potato vine. This is one of them that I had taken cuttings from last fall, overwintered inside, and then I was able to not only get more cuttings from it, but I planted several around. They make great fillers. I didn't know what I wanted in this container. Oh, I should say I do know. I have some ornamental oregano, and it was just struggling in the heat, so I thought I'd plant this in here to give it a little shading. And you can see how the ornamental oregano is, starting to take off. That will overwinter. The sweet potato vine won't. I will have to either dig this up or take cuttings from this, so when it gets super cold and it gets killed back, I will have some for next year. I love this one with the big leaves, and I love that chartreuse color. So here's some more zinnias I planted. I planted them in this container because the other ones I had planted near here were eaten by the gophers. I don't know why they didn't bother the ones over there that I showed earlier, the senoras, but they didn't. You never know what they're going to go after. So I enjoyed my other Gara so much last year that I got this one this spring and planted here. Or was it last fall? I don't remember which. But anyways, I planted it, and it's doing just as beautifully as the other one. And that's one thing you do need to do, or should do, to keep harmony in the garden, is to repeat plantings, and then especially things that do very well for you. They can create like a foundation in your garden, and then like I can add in, like down here, these petunias. These I grew from seed last winter in the greenhouse, well, inside on my racks, and then they were moved to the greenhouse when it warmed up just a touch. And there's so many of them, I used them to line all the pathways. And it goes all the way and over there. So that all was like a $5 packet of seeds. And they have bloomed from May. I planted them out, excuse me. And they did fine, even through the freeze. I was shocked, totally shocked. I thought they were going to be toast, and thought, oh, well, there goes $5. But they didn't. They made it, and they have bloomed gorgeously. So you never know. But things like that, when you have a foundation planting, you can add in annuals, etc., without blowing the budget. It's better environmentally because you're not always buying plants that have to be shipped. You're not throwing away plastic pots that there should come in, etc. When you have things that reseed, which I do have a lot of things that reseed themselves and come up, and or you can start from seed, and you have the foundation perennials, then it just saves money, time, and the environment. So look around here. I have started some more Nepitas. These divide super easy, and then I can place them elsewhere. This is a shorter version. And then I had some that were growing from seed. I did not know that I put an ornamental oregano in here, but that is what that is. And this is a Nepeta. Looks like this one's getting eaten by bugs, and a weed is there, and then there's another one here. But anyway, so I was interplanting the Nepeta with the boxwood. There's a boxwood right there, just to give it some color. This Nepeta has just bloomed and bloomed and bloomed since last spring, and like I said, it stays shorter, so it's been something wonderful. Yeah, this one too. That one looks like it's getting bug eaten. But so far so good. You can see where I need to continue my brick work around here. I do have a few. I have 3 more bricks up on the driveway, and it still looks like I need a couple more. But the next time I make it to a garden center or a home decor or home, you know what I mean, Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, Ace Hardware. Oh, they'll have some bricks. So another Nicotiana that I grew from seed. These have been a real winner in my garden. Now this one, oh, this one's white. Okay, I thought that it was a secondary one. I didn't have any white ones. So look at that, isn't that gorgeous? These have just been so fun, and they have such a sweet scent that they release in the evening after a warm day. They're just delightful. I didn't anticipate these ones getting this tall. So this was probably 4 feet tall, and the only experience I had before with growing was the lime one, which you see how much shorter it is. It's maybe 3 feet, if that. So that's what I thought they would be, but I don't mind a bit. That's why I'm letting them come up behind the bench. I thought that would be pretty back there, even if I do put my bobo hydrangeas. Look at here, my milkweed's going to seed. I need to collect this. I've been collecting off of this plant for days, and it looks like more are popping open. I did not get any monarchs laying eggs on this plant that I saw caterpillars of, though I could be wrong. I do see a few eaten leaves, so like I said, I may have been wrong, but out front I found several caterpillars. So it just was fun, and I want to just start. I'm going to save some seed, and some I'm just going to go ahead and direct sow this month and see which ones come up. I'm going to direct sow some in the garden, and then I'm going to winter sow some in my containers, like I use milk jugs, and I'll put a link in the description box below of my winter sowing videos. So that you can see how I do it. But I'm going to winter sow some of this milkweed. This is called scarlet milkweed. I have tried to start milkweed before, not been successful. I bought these 2 plants. And now that I'm collecting hundreds and hundreds of seeds, I'm hoping I can start more throughout the garden. And I had 4 or 5 monarchs this year, which I hadn't had for several years, very many monarchs, maybe 1. But I had more, so I know the milkweed is attracting them. This is my Hyde Hall pink rose. That it's a David Austin rose that the gophers were eating, so I plopped it in this container. It's one of those big terracotta pots, and it's done beautifully here, so I think it will remain, and I will just plant in the ground around it. This area here and here, the gophers have been really bad in, as well as over by the fence. So my roses will stay in pots, but they've done good in the pots as long as I make sure I feed them well. So another Nicotiana back there. Those 2 roses I'm giving away to my cousin. They're just extras I have from my rose starting tutorials. I have some on here on how I start roses from cuttings, and I start getting too many roses. So this arbor, it's an arbor bench, and you can see I have a thing of water there where I have fountains going. This actually used to be a walkway down to my veggie garden area, and then I put this up. And now I am thinking I prefer having an opening directly down into the veggie garden. So I may be swapping this out for just an arbor instead of the arbor bench with a back. But nothing's written in stone, so we'll see what happens there. Sometimes I think of things, but I never get to them, and then to change my mind. Here is my Anne Folkard. Well, it's not open right now, but it's a beautiful hardy geranium. It's another one of my tried and true perennials that stays in my garden because they just perform constantly. They're not only a beautiful plant, but the blooms on them just are beautiful, beautiful. Down in there's my heart. You can't really tell. I gotta pull the weeds and stuff. It's one of my moss hearts that I created. This area's gotten a little cluttered up, so I need to clear it out, replace some of the rocks, the pea gravel that made it, accentuated the heart. And I have some, poor things are getting swamped. I have some sempervivums in here. See that? How pretty that is. And it's getting hidden by this stuff coming over it. But I had started to put some of those in there as a little display, and I just left it here. I need to pick it up. I'll probably have to support the bottom. And I have some more colors of sempervivums to put in there to add to it. My rosemary topiaries, I need to get these into the greenhouse before it gets freezing cold. I probably need to pot them up. They're probably root bound into some bigger pots. But these are quite a few years old and they stay small, but it's the type of rosemary this is. And it's more got a yellow tinge to it. My barbecue rosemary has more of a blue hint to the foliage. I love that scent. Oh, beautiful. My golden thread branch cypress down there. I killed the other one. I had it in a spot and it didn't get watered, and I'm so sad because I had this pair of them in those pots and they just provide beautiful color during the spring and winter. This is another one of those silver tidal wave petunias that I started from seed. And look at those. It's a gorgeous color, but look how there is a daisy under there somewhere. And it has just swamped it and just climbed all over it and just been beautiful and scrambled down. Here's some more of the petunias I started from seed that I used as edging. And one of my Oriental poppies, or there's two in there, maybe. The gophers didn't eat. The ones around several places they ate. I didn't know they would eat them. I did dig one up that they were eating, and I put it in a pot and reburied it. Didn't think it would make it, but it did. And so we'll see how that fares next year. It's still tiny, but it did make it. And more Nicotiana. So here's the Echinacea that's similar to the one I took out over there. Now these things can get a little vigorous or aggressive. So that's why I pulled the other one out, and I don't know, I'll probably pull this one out too. It's just a little too over vigorous. I'm afraid that the seeds will get away and start becoming invasive around the area. I know there are others that stay shorter and a little more in control, so I might get the seeds of that because I do like that color of blue in the garden when it's, you know, this one's going to seed drying out, so you don't see the intensity of the blue. But so we've come around the path all the way around. This is more alfalfa that I put down last spring, and it has done so well as far as keeping the weeds reduced in the pathway, and the flagstones will continue coming down this area. I have them up in front. If I have to buy some more, I know where I can get some more, but I think I have plenty around here. Another Nicotiana. All of these I started from seed. These ones, did I winter sow these? I think I did winter sow these, and I had plenty to pop everywhere, and I have just loved them this summer. This is not rose campion, but it's the one, I got the seeds that it's white with pink, and then I just have the pure white. And those grow like weeds in my garden too, so it's another great plant. In fact, there was another one in here, and I just had pulled it out because it was just too much in there. I did try to transplant it, but I don't think it took. But along here, my boxwoods, these two, I started from cuttings, so they're doing okay. I had several boxwoods here, and the gophers were eating them, except for this one. They didn't eat this one. Now this one, I don't know what variety it is, but it has been the toughest, most vigorous growing of all of them. I have Green Mountain, I have Velvet Boxwood, I have, what is the winter one? Winter Gem, but this one has done the best. A friend gave it to me. Like I said, I don't know what variety it is, but this is the one I've been taking cuttings from because it has been the most vigorous for me. So that's why I'm using it as for cutting material. Though I have taken some Green Mountain boxwood cuttings too. So I have heuchera in there. These are in pots, sedums and stuff I need to get planted. And that basically, guys, is my secret cottage garden. And kind of what I'm doing with it. There's nothing written in stone. This area here that is a pathway right now will be not a pathway. I may have a couple stepping stones in there so I could get through there easily, but I'm just gonna continue this bed across here. So I could put roses in here in the pots. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. I just know I don't need this other path. And I do need more space for plants. So that's what's happening with that. Okay, let's see over here. This rose. I'm going to show you what this one looked like the other day because it was just popping open and it was just beautiful. This one is ebb tide. Get a load of this rose. This is ebb tide. My mom had given me a tiny, it was like a 3-inch cutting, and it took. And look at that gorgeous bloom. Isn't that just lovely color? And it's in this tiny little pot. I've got to get it a larger pot. And I do have a way of making cages where the gophers cannot eat it, to plant them in, and I need to do that. I just haven't managed to get to that yet. But that would be a way for me to plant them safely and not worry about the gophers eating them. And this is baby blanket, this pretty pink. It's a ground cover rose, and it's in this pot with firefighter, which the firefighter looks like it's going to bloom again. Now, the trick with roses in containers is to feed them weekly. And you dilute. I have an organic fertilizer that I like to use for them, a liquid that not only feeds the plant, but it feeds the soil. So it's a win-win, but I dilute it by 1/2 to 1/4 strength, and then every week I water my roses. And that keeps them well fed, because when you're watering, especially in the summer when you're watering daily in containers, it leaches out the nutrients very quickly. And roses need a lot of nutrients. And if they're not in the ground where it's constantly being produced, they need all the help they can get. So that's how I keep them blooming in containers very well. Another little chickadee over by there. See, can you see him or her? Getting a sip. I try to keep those well filled because they can fall in if I don't, and or something in there that they can get up on if they fall in, and I don't want them drowning. So that, my friends, is, like I said, the secret cottage garden. Whoops, I almost tripped over something behind me. And it's been a work in progress all summer. I kind of, as I said before, was focused on the front and getting that in shape and in order. And I'm doing the same up there, trying to incorporate more perennials and stuff so that it's beautiful with not so much work. I have been trying to do a little bit more travel for garden visits, etc. And so when you're leaving a lot, then things can get away from you in your own garden. And that, my friends, was the tour of the secret cottage garden. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any ideas for me, I'd appreciate hearing from you. Just put them in the comments below as far as what, maybe should I put the bobo hydrangeas back there? Should I do something different? I have also some dwarf conifers that might work back there too. So that's my ideas. But always a work in progress, and I always enjoy it. Nothing is ever done. I just enjoy the journey. So I hope you enjoyed it with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.